Okay, so this is a pretty simple one that you can use any kind of wood canvas. I'm going to be demonstrating it on a 16 by 20 canvas, but you could also do this on wood. You could also do this on a wooden heart door hanger. So if you want to make it where you can hang it up. So there's many ways you can do this, but we are going to be using some basic colors. We're going to use carousel pink. We're going to use a royal fuchsia. We're also going to use a Laguna or any kind of light turquoise would work. You could even use sea breeze and then a white and a black. Pretty much that's it. I might actually throw in, y'all know me and my gold, I might throw in some gold because I just love gold. So it's a really simple project and I think it'll work really well for the end of January timeframe, but also if you want to use it, so if it's popular in your area to do door hangers, I think it'll be a really great one. And then also, besides the love one another, you could also do things like you are worthy, stuff like that. So basically all you want to do, and you can help actually what I would do is I would have this part pre-drawn, just have the heart and the stripes pre-drawn. So I like to make my heart just a little bit uneven. So maybe that side goes up a little bit more. And then good morning, Julie. Julie is in our group where we film our tutorials. So she's getting to see a sneak peek of the painting. Don't tell Julie. Don't tell the design idea yet. It's coming out in January. So when you are watching this, it is January. So right now, when I'm filming this, it is early December, and it's so funny because in the paint party business, you kind of have to be a season or two ahead at all times. It's kind of strange, but when we're in the midst of full-blown teaching all of our Christmas designs, we're actually already developing and thinking about and planning as far as spring. You know, there's actually I just booked a party the other day and it was for the summer. And so it's so weird to how we always kind of have to be ahead. And you'll notice too the stores as well. They'll do the same thing. Did realize. Did I say something weird? It's funny. Maybe I should teach these live. These might be more fun if I taught them live. Then I have somebody to talk to. Instead of always talking to myself. So yeah, so we're always, if you think of the Hobby Lobby and the Michaels, you'll start noticing even now. If you go in, yeah, it's full-blown Christmas, but you'll see a bunch of worker elves on the side, like getting spring stuff prepped and ready and all of this stuff for right after Christmas, because as soon as December 26th hits, everything starts to adjust, everything goes on sale, and then they start to switch gears. So in this market, we are always a season ahead. So for example, those of you, when I release the Vintage Santa in August, I had some people go, well, what about another fall design? I'm like, we've got lots of fall designs happening. And remember, you only need a couple of really great designs to make some decent money during the seasons. Okay, so we're going to let this dry for a minute. Yeah, she says, I'm brainstorming Valentine's Day too. Love the advice I get in paint party headquarters. Changed my business 100%. Oh, thank you, Julie. You're so sweet. Okay, so we have this right here. And I love hearing that from you because, especially with how many paint parties you have done. So y'all know Julie helps us a lot. She's part of the Paint Party Headquarters team, and she has taught over 500 paint parties and is a rock star. So we love her expertise and her knowledge. Okay, so this part is where I would have this pre-drawn. So you could technically, just like we pre-draw stuff, you could take a ruler, or I even have one of these. You could get it maybe at a just Walmart, anywhere. But I just have a longer one. This one's 36. And then what I would do is I would pre-draw these beforehand. so that they're ready to go. Because whenever anybody has anything pre-drawn, they just seem a little bit easier. And we're actually going to be using a palette knife on this, as well as I have a little surprise towards the end I don't want to show you yet that you can put on this as well to make it really just kind of stand out. And this can also be done for your door hangers as well as for your canvas painting. Okay, it's a new little technique we're gonna try. So I'm gonna make these stripes pretty big. So I'm actually gonna go every 2. So I'm gonna do 1 and then do it again. And I'm just doing basic stripes. Anytime you're coming up with the design, sometimes we think we need like a zillion colors and we need all of these different things to make it, you know, work. That's not really, people love the kind of just simple, abstract feel of stuff. They're really not looking for an intense 25 color painting with zillions of details. You know, they're really not looking for that. Again, this isn't a hardcore art lesson. Those of you that are coming from a fine art background and maybe you've been trained where, you know, everything needs to be, you know, very realistic or whatever. It's really, guys, more about the experience and the fun. And I think that's why we don't even compare ourselves to, you know, right now Walmart has all the snowman signs and all the stuff for, you know, $15.96. And people might look at that and go, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to make a living if that sign in Walmart is being sold for $15 or whatever? That's not what we're selling. Y'all, we're selling an experience. We're selling fun with their family and friends. We're not really selling, you know, yes, we're having fun and we're creating something really cute together, but we're not selling, you know, just this painting. They're not coming just for, oh my gosh, I gotta have that decor in my house, because we all know you can go to Hobby Lobby and Michael's any day of the week with a 40% off coupon and get something cute for your house. So just always remember that that's not what it's about. That's not what paint parties are about. Paint parties are more about community and gathering and having a place to connect with their friends or new friends or escape what is going on in their life. So whether you are new to this and you are just enjoying painting with me and this, you know, feels like your community and you're loving this, that is totally fine. Whether you have taught 500 plus parties and you're just getting the new designs and what's working and the on-trend stuff and the marketing hacks, whatever it is, just know that it's okay, whatever place you're at. And just to know that you can't compare yourself to what is being sold at the dollar store or at Walmart, because that's not what this is about. It's totally different than that. Okay, so I'm just every other one, I'm just using this big brush. I might have to go in with a smaller brush there. And just kind of getting my stripes in. And in a second, you'll see the fun little palette part we're gonna do. And I actually had a mistake, and that's how this ended up happening. So I had a mistake I put the letters in a blue and it didn't show up very well. So I just kind of mixed it around. And when I did, it actually gave it such a cool effect. I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna make that end up being part of the process. And I'll show you exactly how to do it. And tell your guests these stripes do not need to be perfect, because we are adding some stuff on top of them, so it's okay if they're a little jagged or a little out of the norm. And this is on a 16 by 20, but you can literally do this same design on wood, on a smaller piece of wood. You can adjust it to anything. You could adjust this to a kid's party and do a smaller piece. Just be creative. I'm just using the 1-inch brush. And my favorite brushes now are actually the purple handle that I'm getting from Gare, the ceramics place. I didn't even know they were selling brushes, and then I bought 100 new ones of each kind for Paint Party Business Live and of course the season, and they are so good. And it's just a 1-inch. They're called Royal something. I can put a link in here. And then I get the 6 and then the liner, and they've been really, really good for the customers and for my own painting. Okay, fill that in. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to get a little bit of this bluish color. So I'm just going to take it on here, and you could use the Sea Breeze. I'm actually going to use a little bit of both Sea Breeze and Laguna. So you could just put, you know, just a little bit on their plates. And then we're going to use the palette knife. So you can get these plastic ones at Michael's for really cheap. So I'm just going to dip it in both of them at the same time. And this is where we're just going to kind of have some fun. So you just kind of grab it and then just scrape it on there. However you want. And I got a little bit of black in there, but that's okay. I'm just gonna kind of rub it in. Whenever you're using a palette knife, you'll see it's very addicting, and you can get to where you just wanna keep going forever because it scrapes the paint below and moves it around. So sometimes if you get too crazy, you might have to go back with a little bit of pink. So now if I got too crazy and I want to put a little bit more pink on top of that to keep it more of the pink theme, I'll wipe this off and then I'll dip back into the pink and then just kind of brush on top of it. Well, not brush, use the palette knife on top. And then it just gives it some really cool dimension. And then we're going to take this same palette knife and we're going to add in some little scrapes too. And when you take it and you pull, keep everything kind of going, you know, horizontal. And you dip and you just kind of, so each stripe is just going to have a little hint of the pink. And if you get too much like I did, you just scrape it off. And you can always go back with blue or turn it this way. So if you're having trouble, you can always turn it. And I'm going to turn this around to make sure y'all can see it. And again, I just got a little pink. I'm just adding on there, and then voila. So we have our pinks, we have our kind of bluish color in there. And then what I want to do, just kind of wipe off the palette brush. Then I'm going to outline this heart. So people can do this a couple different ways with the smaller brush, but I like to use the biggest brush, and then I like to just take it and follow along. Okay, so now we have it kind of outlined, and then all we have to do is just wait for it to dry, and then we can use either the paper where you trace it, or if you have a cutter, you can do the cutter, and it could say you are worthy, love one another, whatever you want it to say. You could add at the end and it would go on top. And then the little surprise I wanted to show you, these are some they're like paper flowers. So I'm going to give you a link to where you can order them for wholesale. But they're really cute. You can actually paint these. These are unpainted. So you could put them on the corner of, you know, just like a few of them, just like that, and have like a cute little addition to them. And then you could encourage them to put glitter on them or to paint them. I was thinking even paint them a turquoise color. So you would just take your small brush and then just kind of go in and just paint them whatever colors you wanted. So I'm going to do a little bit of this turquoise. And this is just kind of an extra fun addition. And then you would bring a hot glue gun, and it could be something extra that you add. Again, we want to stand out. We want to have something different. We want to have something exciting and creative. You know, what are they going to make this month? So we have those repeat customers. So they could paint these and they could put glitter on them or whatever they want. And then whenever they add it to the painting, and this would also be a really cute one around Mother's Day as well. A great, you know, anytime between mid-January to pretty much spring. And you could change the colors up to more of a muted or a gold tone if you wanted to do more spring. And then you could do You Are Worthy with some of the flowers and a goldish tone. But yeah, feel free to use this design as part of being in Paint Party headquarters. And then again, you can make it small. You can make it on 16 by 20, or you can make your own heart. You can cut it out, or you can get, and this one's from Craft Creations that Pixie actually painted. So I started to paint over it with white, and then I'm going to turn it into this same style. So there's many options. And then again, if you don't have a cutter, what I recommend doing is printing out your design and then using a graphite paper. You can get it from Amazon or Staples, and then tracing it on there. But this part has to dry before you can do that. Okay, so this isn't all the way dry, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to do it. I recommend maybe bringing a blow dryer to your event. And you just wanna, again, you can use carbon paper. You can use whatever you like. I'm just using, I have a US cutter. I've had this for a few years now, and I really like it because I can do a ton of cutouts. So when I have a lot of big parties, it works really well. But there is quite a learning curve for it. So it does take a little bit, you know, just like you're learning any kind of system or something like that, it does take a little bit of a learning curve. So if you have access and you want to do, like, I've heard, maybe y'all can chime in the comments, a silhouette or a cricket, which one, you know, if you have some of those, which one you think is better. So this actually, I've had better luck, honestly, y'all, with just bringing the black tracer paper than teaching them this, because this part, unless they're used to a vinyl cutter, there's a lot of me having hands on. And on wood, this works really well, but on canvas, you can see how it gives, how it's bouncy like a trampoline. And it really does, if you're not experienced with it, it really does cause some issues. Now, it's not that it can't be done. It can. I have taught it at many canvas parties, but I want to tell you that there is a little bit of a learning curve. And if you are new to this kind of thing, it may be in your best interest to use oh, I forgot to put my brushes in the water. It may be better to use the carbon paper and it just print it out. So I'll give you the stencil for this so you can just print it out. And then you can use makeup brushes or whatever. I'm just going to use this so I can do it kind of all together. So I just kind of dab up and down. I'm not too worried about it being perfect because I'll just take my liner brush and quickly go over it. Okay, so then I'll just always pull it up like right after they do it. I always say, yeah, just go for it right after, and then in just a second, I'll pick out the middles. So I'm just gonna take the back off. So it's a vinyl piece. So I cut it on the machine, and then I put this backing on it. And again, it's way cheaper and way easier just to use the black carbon. and trace it. So if you don't have a machine, don't fret. Oh my gosh, I have to have a machine right now. You don't, it's okay. I taught paint parties for many years without a cutter. I just want y'all to know the different options. There's many, many ways to do this. My job is to try to share lots of different ways to do this, but also ways that work. Because I've done many ways that do not work in my years of painting parties. So my job is to show you the right way so you don't have to do all the mistakes I did in the past. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this. These are the big brushes you can get at Michael's or Lowe's. I like these better. I don't know, some dollar stores might have them, but I don't like the ones they have at our dollar store. I like this better, and I know the hairs come out sometimes, but they just, I don't know, I just like the way they feel better, the way they paint. They do a lot of coverage in a short amount of time. So when you are trying to do, a party around 2.5 hours or under, you want to make sure that you get the right tools. Because if you give them, a lot of times I'll bring these brushes just to get the big bulk areas painted, so they're not spending 30 minutes on something that could have took, 5 minutes. Okay, so once you have that, then you just take your little tool, and you can get these at Harbor Freight. Let me find mine. Oh, one of my flowers is flying off. Hold on, let me find my little tool. And these are just dental picks. And they have them curved just like you would, at the dentist. And I like to even just wait just a few minutes before I pull these, because they are really, really wet right now. But just for showing you, I just want to kind of show you how you just pick and pull. So what I would tell my guest is, okay, just leave the middles there for about 5 minutes to dry. So you pull everything off first, but then you want to leave the middles about 5 minutes to dry, because if they're not experienced with doing what I'm doing right now, a lot of times, and I do it too sometimes, they'll drop it and then they have a big white smudge somewhere else. So if they want to choose a different color than white, just make sure it is a good enough contrast so that it'll show up. So then after they have their letters on there, they can easily take a liner brush and then just kind of use your pinky to hold it and just kind of clean it up. And then they could also take like the back of the brush, they could do some fun little dots like that, just fun little extras. And then they could even take it and do like a little highlight line, kind of just here and there. You could also use the palette knife if you wanted and add in some different colors to the background. I'm going to try to keep it more basic, but I will highly encourage my customers to go crazy, to add different, stay within the color theme, like if they wanted to add purples or whatever. But you never know. Sometimes people come up with the coolest stuff when you're just like, here's the paints, go for it. And then they have all these great ideas. So it's just a quick brush. You're just cleaning it up. And then if this doesn't take too long and you still have time at the party, I wouldn't mention this unless there's still, quite a bit of time and people are finishing early. And they could even take this and do the little lines. So for example, the shadow line. So they could go to the left and to the right. So I would take like the lighter of the turquoise, and then this part's a little bit more tricky. So I would be careful to mention it unless you're pretty good at it, so in case they ask you to do it. And then also you could bring paint pens too. So you just kind of go to the left, and we're just kind of adding this in, just a real simple line, and then you can see how it just kind of adds to it. And just make sure if you start out on the left side, you can kind of go in here, but you keep it kind of left and under. And this also helps too with sometimes when you're cleaning stuff up. You know, if you have some smudges or whatever. Alright guys, I hope you like this tutorial. Let me know if you do. And then I'll put the links in here for where to get these flowers. I'll also put the links where I buy my brushes. I think they're really good. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.